Hi everyone, I'll be playing my Jinteki deck with Matrix Analyzer again, and in this video you'll see one big limitation of damage-based Jinteki decks, trap-based Jinteki decks rather, that makes it very hard for Jinteki to become competitive. Will I be able to overcome this limitation? We shall see. I open into a very good hand with only a clone retirement as an agenda, and then I install my paper wall to protect HQ after celebrity gifting. So now I'm rich and I have some protection. That's good. Action 1, Corroder, Action 2, Data Sucker. Alright, everything thrown out the window. I might as well just rest the paper wall to force him to pay 1, and he gets it. Oh man. So fast. If you thought criminals were fast, try this. The Whizzard with Corroder and Data Sucker. He runs twice, and he hits my clone retirement. So now he has one bad pup to play with, which makes me very sad. Thankfully I drop into a Grim, so I'm ready to snipe off his programs. Although accumulating 2 bad pup isn't really my idea of fun. He begins by he just spends his entire turn solidifying his defenses while I do the same. And then he plays his Prof Contacts and begins drawing up. So I have a very limited time period to get my things going underway. I draw into an RSVP, which was very important. Now I can actually start playing Caprice Nisei. On the very next turn, I'll be able to do so. However, he installs his Mimic, so that prompts me to purge virus counters, because with a Mimic and 4 Data Sucker tokens, he can get through my Grim. I want to make sure he cannot get through any of my defenses, particularly Grim. So the virus tokens have to go. And then he installs Ice Cover, which is another piece of hell for me. Because now all he needs is 1 Data Sucker token to get through the Grim. And more importantly, he doesn't need any Data Sucker tokens to get through my RSVP once he has a York up. So he's assembling up his rig very, very quickly, but at least he does a fatal blind check, which kills off his Mimic. I think that was very important in slowing down his tempo. But unfortunately, he grabs the Nisei from my hand. So things look very bad once again, and I'm forced to continue solidifying my defenses. I put something over Archives so that now he really cannot accumulate Data Sucker tokens easily. It might look like I'm in a good position, but he is continuing to get a lot of credits, and once he has his entire Anarch Breaker suite out, my game is over. I'll have to rely on the Caprice Nisei side games in order to win me the game. So I see an aggressive secretary in my HQ. This is quite important. It couldn't have come at a better time. If I'm able to trash his entire rig, I will have a huge advantage. But I need to be able to get there first. That's not going to be easy, because now he is on 23 credits. All he needs is the card draw to get up there, and he will become unstoppable. So I start to churn out agendas because I have no agenda points. This is very atypical. By now I would have scored something, at least a clone retirement. He lets me go, and which was not a good thing, because I wanted him to run into my Caprice Nisei and check everything. I continue on by installing the NAPD contract. Once again, I don't think he runs. Yep, he sets up his York. So my NAPD contract, I decided to leave it in the remote. I want him to, I don't really want him to steal it. I want him to run into it so that I can accumulate advancement counters. And I'm also trying to pass it off as a snare. If I advanced it, he would run into it, and most likely he would steal it because he'd be playing 4 side games. The chances of me winning were low. So yes, I was trying to pretend it was a snare. I could have advanced it once to prepare it next turn, but I didn't. I choose not to do so because I needed to bait him into running the remote. He doesn't do so, so I trash the NAPD contract and I install over with an exec. So if he hits this aggressive secretary, it will be pumped up to 3 tokens and I'll be able to take his entire Anarch Breaker suite out. Action 1, Vamp. Oh, my heart just sank so hard when I saw that card. There was absolutely nothing I could do about it except to dump 1 credit in the exec to to give it more bite. But aggressive secretary will have no bite if I have no credits. Ah man, that hurts so much. In retrospect, what I should have done was to install if I had known he had a VAM, what I should have done was to install the pop-up window over the remote. So if he runs my remote, I will at least gain some credits and I'll be able to threaten him with a June bug if I have 1 credit. And I should also arrest the Caprice Nisei. So if I keep him out of the server, I can force him to keep getting credits from keep giving me credits from pop-up window, and as a result, I'll be able to trigger my aggressive secretary. Ah man, that stings so hard. I wanted to celebrity gift the next turn, but I realized I didn't have the 3 credits to do so. Yeah, that was very painful. And as I was saying right at the start of this video, the big limitation of trap-based decks in Jinteki is that they need money. If you're up against a very good, very powerful Siphon Recursion deck or a very powerful VAM deck as I'm facing right now, you stand absolutely no chance. You will be kept flat broke, and they will just tear every single one of your remotes to bits. Your snares won't activate. Every single trap will not activate except for Ghost Branch, which no one uses nowadays. So, and yes, your R&D is completely porous. That's why he didn't run R&D at all, even though he had many chances to. Because he wanted to leave the ice unrest so that he can run through for free. That is the power of a VAM deck. I guess that should have been a sign that he was very focused on running HQ and didn't pay any attention to R&D at all in the early game. This is how you tell that they prioritize HQ access, meaning they are running some sort of deck that will cripple you if they get into HQ, i.e. a VAM deck. I should have saw that coming. A good player would have. I did not, and I suffered the consequences. As I said, if I had prepared the pop-up window, this wouldn't have been so crippling. So right now, game state, he has his entire Anarch Breaker suite out, he has a lot of virus tokens, and even if I clear them, he still has ice cover. Game's pretty much over. Even though I'm back to a healthy credit level, there's nothing I can do to stop him. He is on match point, and I have no Caprice Nisei. I am completely vulnerable. So, yeah. Oh, right, I have interns. Alright, so I can still get a Caprice Nisei out and a Fetal AI just for fun. But my time is short-lived as he throws out an indexing. I can only stop him with a Feeble Sportsman, and as you might guess, he sees an agenda in there to close the game. So, once again, all corp decks require some level of economy to function, but Jinteki is especially crippled without any money. I think if you play Jinteki quite a bit, you'll find that this is true, and it's a reason why Jinteki is so hard to play nowadays in a meta saturated with Con Siphon and criminals. You can't even attempt to play mind games when you can't even set off the mind games because you have no money at all. While Jinteki economy has gotten better with the tools in Spin Cycle, Celebrity Gift and Sundeal are particularly effective, as is subliminal messaging. But at the end of the day, as you see from here, a well-built VAM deck is seriously crippling, and this Whizzard managed to set up his entire Breaker suite extremely quickly, despite the fact that I Grimmed away his Archer. Grimmed away his Mimic. So, I think this Whizzard VAM archetype is very strong. I haven't tried building one myself, but after what I've seen here, I am convinced that it is a perfectly viable build and is extremely devastating, especially if you are using it against a corp who doesn't see it coming. Lucky Find was really good for him because it enabled him to get a huge amount of burst credits with minimal card draw. Even though he installed Professional Contacts, he didn't draw all that much. But he made every single card count, and that's what really mattered. Thanks for watching. See you around.